You're listening to Top Line Toronto with Nick Lynham, Brady Ricketts, and Jordan Voth.
Welcome back to another episode of Top Line Toronto. I am joined, as always, by my bearded brother, Mr. Jordan Voth. How are we doing today, my man?
It is tiring watching this team, man.
No huffing and puffing in a 7-2-1 team in the last 10. Like, you are exhausting.
They're the most mid 7-2-1 team in their last 10 then, by far. I don't care what Nick says. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this, all three of these games were hard to watch.
Would you rather be the Leafs team with this record right now or the 15-3 Winnipeg Jets?
Oh, I'll take the 15-3 Jets all day.
You are wrong.
Dude, they're 15-3. Have they?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
They've lost what, once at home?
They've lost every game against the Atlantic Division so far, and they're 3.
Have they been shit kicked by Columbus?
They have not been shit kicked by Columbus. That is a true fact. Nor
have they
been shut out by Ottawa, which Toronto Maple Leafs did their first game to start the week.
Did they lose 100% of their games to the Blues?
They did not. They have not lost 100% of their games to the Blues.
Okay, so don't come at me with this shit.
They've lost 100% of the games to the Leafs so far, though. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing better than beating the Leafs. Yeah.
So 3-0 loss to the Senators. Our second shutout that we've seen in the Chief Berube era. Honestly, I kind of just read it as a great road game from the Senators, start to finish. They scored in the first minute. Leafs tried to catch the game, or were chasing the game the rest of the way, and never fucking caught up.
Yeah, you know what? The thing that really popped to me watching this one was how good the Senators' forward core is. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it might not have the top end of the Leafs. Like, it doesn't have an Austin Matthews. But you've got guys up and down that lineup that are just, they're gamers, and they put up points. They get it done, right? Like, they've got Batherson, Stützle, Norris, Pinto. They've got all these, like Brady Tkachuk. They've got all these guys who, like, their top 9 forward group, it looks really, really good. And then you look at the Leafs' top 9. We'll get into this later, but good Lord. Without Austin Matthews, it's horrendous. Even with Matthews, it's lackluster. Yeah, horrible to see him get shut out. They didn't even look like they were trying that much. They don't care about this game. Like, the Battle of Ontario means nothing to this Leafs team. Nothing.
I will agree with you that the Senators, like, that was a game where you can definitely start to see some of the building blocks that I think they were hoping to see dividends from maybe 2 years ago, or even especially last year. But I don't believe that team is, like, insanely far away from getting into the playoffs at this point, especially with Linus Ullmark. Like, Linus Ullmark hasn't been, and neither is Jeremy Swayman for that defect of that Bruins tandem last year. Have been world enders this year, but it's definitely a huge help for the Senators to actually have someone moderately capable defending them.
Yeah, and if their top 10 pick in Tyler Boucher can get there from the 20. Oh, he's pointless in 12 games with Belleville, and he's he's already in his, like, draft plus.
But what is he? 6'5", 200 something pounds? You can't.
No, he's only 6'2". Holy shit! He has a grand total of 5 points in 33 games at the AHL level.
Yeah, he was an underwhelming performer even in the CHL as well when he went there.
Probably not a guy you waste a top 10 pick on.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple ourselves.
Oh yeah.
But then, so going from the Ottawa shutout game, didn't love what I saw. Really, I mean, the first period against the Senators kind of just lost in the game, especially when you get shut out and you get scored, I think, twice in the first period. You're not going to win a game in the first period, but you sure can lose one, which kind of we got lucky probably against the Capitals the next night on a back-to-back. Another slow start. Leafs really got caved in on the first period on this game. They did, however, really start taking over the play in the second period and utterly dominated that Capitals team in the third period. The Leafs ended up having an expected goals for percentage in that third period of roughly 85%. I think it's a little bit higher. John Tavares finishes that game in overtime with a great goal. Huge save from Joseph Woll on a very wide open Alex Ovechkin, just absolutely teeing one in from inside the blue line. Mitch Marner gets it out in the neutral zone. John Tavares goes for a hard skate and ends it. But I know you had some comments on that game itself, especially on the officiating side. This was a game. That third period was mostly reviews. It was insane.
I can't be the hypocrite. If I was a Washington Capitals fan, I would be absolutely livid with this. And you know what? It's bad for the game. The first goaltending interference call was incredibly soft. There's no way. The Steven Lorentz one that got called off, they got that one right. There's an obvious kicking motion. You can debate whether
I could, I'd say the two in the Leafs ones are as 50-50 as you can have them. Like, to me, a kicking motion one doesn't count if it's off the thigh. Like, that's more pucks on the ice and you're legit taking, like, a free kick at it. Because they changed the rules. I think it was a couple years ago where you're allowed to, honestly, at this point, deflect pucks in with your foot. Like, you're allowed to change the angle of your foot for it to deflect in off it. I guess, like, the difference now is, like, taking your skate off the ice for a kicking motion. But to me, that seemed more like a flinch to try and corral it more so than kicking it into the net. So that, like, I don't disagree that, like, yeah, you can definitely call that not a goal. Like, do I think it's... I think it's as 50-50 as it can be. Same with that Nyes one. Then if both calls get... I don't know if Lorentz one got called a goal on the ice. The Nyes one for sure. It did? Okay.
Yeah.
The Nyes one for sure, I think if it's called a goal on the ice, after
I think that one would count.
I think it's too close to take it off the board. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then we get the phantom high stick call, which we saw last year, actually. We saw Matthew Nyes take a few penalties for being big. Mm-hmm. And that was just brutal too. And you know what? You're sitting there watching all this and it's just awful. It's so this is an entertainment product and I'm bored. I don't really care. Like, just figure it out. This doesn't take 5-10 minutes to figure out that no high stick came up on that Nyes play. That's the right call. I think the Nyes one, that one's 50-50. I'm fine with deferring to the call on the ice. The Lorentz one, I don't think that's a goal. If it was scored against my team, I'd be pissed. That's no goal. And that goalie interference one that on the Capitals there to take a goal away, that one is horrendous. That's extremely soft. And for me, if I was a Caps fan...
Especially for some of the ones that we've seen count this year already, like the Hellebuck one where he got essentially tackled in the crease.
Didn't he get scored on at one point without his mask on even?
I feel like I don't know if that was this year. I definitely have. We've seen crazy examples of that's something the league is still to this day never fully ratified. What is goalie interference? What isn't goalie interference? It's never been concrete and it's never been conclusive. Any coach who sees anyone skate within the blue crease or the blue paint when there's a goal that gets scored, you might as well just fucking take a gamble.
You might as well take your shot at it. Yeah. But if I'm a Caps fan watching that, I'm furious. I feel like that game should have probably ended at the final buzzer, 4-2 or 4-3, and the Leafs don't win. But if that was, I guess sometimes it's your turn, and sorry that you drew the short stick on the NHL officiating spin the wheel night. Yeah. Not a fun game. Not fun to watch the officials get involved like that. They're not.
I hated watching the first period, but after I really had fun watching the third period. I will say that, minus the fucking 10 minutes of reviews that took place midway through, the Leafs really were piling on in that one, which was nice to see finally in some 5-on-5 superiority without Austin Matthews in the lineup.
Yep.
So then we get a bit of a then we go to have a bit of a break, and then we go to Saturday, the Battle of the Mix. Coming into Toronto, McDavid versus Bobby McMann. And Bobby McMann, once again, proves himself the generational talent that he is. Should be wearing the C in every fucking jersey in the league. Should be making McDavid's money. Proves it once again. McMann over McDavid.
You want to talk Bobby McMann making McDavid's money? Like, this is an organization that might do that.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes,
No,
my boy.
no. What we're gonna see here is Bobby McMahon is an Alberta guy. He's from Wainwright, Alberta. I'm pretty sure. What
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's
see
correct.
is once again Edmonton. When Bobby McMahon becomes a UFA, they're gonna be, hey, guy, $8 million bucks for you. We're gonna turn you into the next Zach Hyman. How many times does that happen though?
Jack Campbell, Cody Cece,
Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman,
There's got to be more. Tyson Barrie.
Tyson Barrie. Yeah, yeah. There was a while there where the Oilers' strategy was just to go and pick off whatever
Connor
was
Brown.
left on.
Still on the team.
Oh boy.
Mark Arcobello, I believe, was one.
Was it the defenseman Martin Marincin, or did we take him from them?
We took him. Yeah, that was the one time the Leafs did that, and they said never fucking again. That guy stank. But I do have another narrative I want to push, and that is the McDavid versus Toronto Maple Leafs heads up. When I'm going to say this when Austin Matthews in the lineup, I couldn't get a concrete number on this one. I had a 16-14-0 against the Leafs. Connor McDavid is all time, which this doesn't make sense now. But McDavid versus Matthews heads up. Connor McDavid is 6-10-2 lifetime in his career against Austin Matthews heads up, which is good for a 44 point percentage. And I don't mean individuals' points. I mean the points that matter, the 2 points that go, or the 1 point, the pity point that goes towards the standings. Okay. In comparison, Austin Matthews heads up against Connor McDavid is 12-4-2 with a 77% point percentage, which means that if Austin Matthews was to play against Connor McDavid's Edmonton Oilers every year or every game for an 82-point season, they are the President's Cup team by a mile. And I'm going to take that. I'm going to run with it for as long as I can. Take that when people say,
well, are you done doing
best player.
Are you done doing your mental gymnastics today, Brady?
Yeah, I'm done with my shenanigans and propaganda.
Because Connor McDavid went to the fucking finals last year.
Did he win?
He was within a goal.
Did he win?
This team hasn't given us a run like that.
Is his name
in our lifetime
engraved on the Stanley Cup forever? Do they have a banner hanging from the Rogers Arena? Or Rogers Place, whatever fucking Rogers blanket is, it's called.
They've gone further than the Leafs.
Don't matter. Almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes, my man.
I feel like you're squinting and looking for something.
Squinting hard as hell. Don't got the right prescription. Some more storylines out of the Oilers game. We have Ryan Reaves with an all-time boneheaded hit on Darnell Nurse. I couldn't believe seeing that live that was happening. We were talking about this a little bit before the recording. They went to an ISO cam, like ice level camera, when Darnell Nurse was coming around the net. And in the back of my head, I was saying the whole time, like, this guy better get rid of the puck. These guys should get rid of it. And sure enough, the second he comes around the post, he gets absolutely wired, shoulder to head.
Yeah.
By Ryan Reaves. It was ugly. Like, he looked half unconscious on the ice. Ryan Reaves deservedly gets 5 in a game for it. He has a hearing later today with the player department safety. I don't believe it is in person, so it's probably going to be within the 3 to 5 game range. My guess is just going to be 5 games. Why not? But yeah, Jesus me.
Well, okay. So for both teams, I'll give you guys some silver linings. One, for the Oilers,
oh no,
you might find yourself being a better team without Darnell Nurse in the lineup playing.
I don't know. Evan Bouchard was kind of a bad influence back there last night, at least.
For the Leafs, like, I'm not going to miss Ryan Reaves at all. So, however many games you suspend him, whatever. Like, this was something, I think I forgot to bring this up last week, but this is something that's been starting to frustrate me, and I know it's dumb, but the whole point of having Ryan Reaves out there is to fight people. That's all he does. He has not fought once this season. Now, do I want to have Ryan Reaves out there just fighting guys? No. But you're already paying him 1.3 million a season to do that, and he's not doing it. So
Yeah. He's not scoring. I mean, that's never been his game.
no,
But like
he's not. And so what
that,
is like
yeah,
I can't
that,
complain about this.
like that whole situation's like, even that hit last night, it's tough because that's really his role, is to be physical and to, hurt guys. Not like that, but, finish checks, be physical, muck it
Yeah,
up.
I don't think the hit's like honestly that like I think if Nurse
It's bad. Like Darnell Nurse firstly put himself in a bad spot there. Like you cannot skate with your head down around the net like that with the puck. You're gonna get buried every single time doing that.
Like
even
honestly,
if Ryan Reaves went stick on stick, the way that the angle that he took, which he probably needs to adjust his angle, no doubt about it. But even if he goes in for just a stick check on that angle, he's still taking the guy's fucking head off every time.
yeah, like I know it's Reaves, so there's a lot of people who are going to look at that and go, well, typical Reaves being a goon. But honestly, like probably most forwards in the league would probably make that play and it would look just as bad. It's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance. I'm fine with whatever the suspension is because one, it's Ryan Reaves. I don't care if he's not in the lineup. And two, like I still think it is his responsibility to not hit the head. But in that situation, you can it looks like he's expecting him to turn his body and he just doesn't, right? So
I was very surprised Darnell Nurse didn't get rid of that puck earlier. Very surprised.
Yeah, the hit's not late. He doesn't leave his feet. It's not a charge. It's none of those things. It's a routine play that because of the way that Nurse kind of goes into it, it turns out really bad. It's still a suspension. It's still Reeves' responsibility to change course and not hit the head. But it's kind of hard to get like overly worked up. Also, like you just got two like kind of bad players on their respective teams that are not going to be available for the next bid. Hopefully Darnell Nurse is okay, but not having his presence on the back end is probably not going to hurt the Oilers that much. And for Reaves,
they did say on the broadcast, Nurse was walking around and chatting with personnel after that hit, so that's a good sign.
good.
Yeah, he definitely definitely got to take him out for concussion issues. Hopefully it's nothing too long. I really am kind of firmly along the lines that I feel like suspension should be pretty almost equitable to the amount of time that's out with the injury. Like
I don't like that though because you're never punishing the behavior, right? Like let's say Nurse let's say Nurse bounced up and was completely fine on that play. It doesn't change the fact that it's still a suspension worthy hit. It's a dangerous play and you have to punish it. And I don't like the idea that, he missed this many games, you're suspended this many games, because then it doesn't actually do anything to address the behavior you're seeking to curtail. So with that in mind,
more along the lines that I'm thinking of, or more like when you see Let's even talk about. We can run this back to an example where I don't think the play itself was dirty, but the injury was bad. Cedric Pare versus Patrick Lyne, right? So let's say there's an injury like that where there is a very blatant knee sticking out, and a guy gets hurt for months, and a clipping or a knee injury. Like even Neil Pionk took a $5,000 fine last night for a clip with a hit check on the knee of Jesper Boqvist. If Jesper Boqvist goes out for a few months, and if you're the Carolina Hurricane, or no, he's not on the Carolina Hurricanes, he's on the Florida Panthers. If the Florida Panthers are like, well, our guy's out for 3 months, this guy's paying a $5,000 fine slap on the wrist. I don't think those are equitable because I think the Pionk play or those of that nature are inherently a bit more dirty, especially with a team that's getting blown out like the Jets were last night.
But even if there's no injury on the play, you still need to treat it the same.
Yes.
Like we're trying to go after change in behavior.
Yes.
And so basically what happens is like you're not changing the behavior by basing the suspension on the victim's injury, right? If you're suspending based on that, you're letting guys get away with behavior because the guy wasn't hurt.
Yes.
So
and I'm not saying you shouldn't be suspended if the guy's not hurt, but like I like to. There's been times where I just don't think the punishment fits the crime at certain points.
And this conversation is far more nuanced than something that George violent gentleman dipshit Peros is capable of even fucking thinking of. It's a disgrace that he is in the position he is. There are so many
not liked
there are so many better people
anything that's
that could
gone
be
on
there. He's a fucking idiot, and I would love to see somebody who's a little bit more thoughtful, who's actually played the game in that position rather than dipshit George Peros, because he's a fucking dipshit.
I wonder what it would look like if there was like like an old time skill player that was in there on that role. Like remember the first one that sticks in my head is I don't know why I'm thinking about this. Maybe he's just inducted in the Hall of Fame, I believe. The Pierre Turgeon injury from Dale Hunter. Remember that when he scored the goal, put his arms up, and Dale Hunter buries him.
Yep.
Like I always wonder like what like a skill player's take on that would be.
Like Paul Correa would be a good fit for the role.
Yeah.
You know, but even Brendan Shanahan, who I don't want to say anything good about at this point, I think he was a decent pick for that, because that's a guy who played a hard-nosed game, but he wasn't a fighter. He wasn't an enforcer. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who played a hard-nosed game, and he was a talented hockey player.
Yeah.
But to have George Peros in that position, it's ridiculous. It's
laughable. Yeah.
It's it reminds me sort of the cabinet picks we're seeing right now. So
oh my God. A couple that's a whole other debate. A couple other things I guess we should talk about. Mitch Marner ends the game in overtime. He's once again kind of continued to shine with Austin Matthews being out. I think right now the team is either 5-1-0 or 6-1-0 since Matthews has been out of the lineup. Yep. Gutsy. I mean, really, the only thing you could say, even if the team is like visibly looking like they're not playing great. We just got live info.
Hey.
George Peros has grown a spine, and it is 5 games for Ryan Reaves, which I expected that. Yeah. Honestly, I'm shocked.
George.
I'm honestly shocked it wasn't an in-person hearing because he wears the blue and white. But yeah. We do still have a bit of an injury bug kicking around the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Austin Matthews still out. Max Pacioretty's out. Max Domi sounds like he's still dealing with stuff. Who knows who else is dealing with some stuff? But we do have a bit of a break this week. Even last week, some days off. Hopefully guys can get a bit healthy. And we can really start to see the true potential of Craig Berube's Toronto Maple Leafs moving forward. The week ahead for us, this Wednesday, we've got the Vegas Golden Knights. I believe all these games are in Toronto. I was looking at the start times. None of them are like way out west start times, like 9 o'clock games. All of them start at 6. So I think they're in Toronto. I haven't double checked. First, Vegas. Could we potentially see a Ilya Samsonov revenge game? My man currently has a 2.95 goals against average and a .906 save percentage, which is technically outperforming Aiden Hill, but Aiden Hill has played more games and currently is 8-3-1 record. Both Vegas and Toronto at this point in time in the last 10 games are 7-2-1. So both teams that are on the performance end, at least, clicking on all cylinders. But I haven't actually watched any Vegas games this year. But what are some of your thoughts going into that one?
I could see Samsonov having a revenge night and like putting up a really good night, especially if we don't have Matthews for this game. And
he is one of those guys. Just screams for one.
This team is so hard to predict because last week I said an OT loss, a loss to the Capitals, and I think a win against Edmonton. And I was close. The refs helped the Washington game. They didn't even show up in Ottawa. I was optimistic for that one.
There was one thing about the Edmonton one. Did you notice? So Bobby McMahon in the Detroit game gets called for an interference for sweeping a stick away that was well out of play.
Yeah, that was nuts.
And on the tying goal for the Edmonton Oilers last night, McDavid, number 1, knocks a stick out of John Tavares' hands, and number 2, sweeps it to the fucking blue line without it getting called. And then no more than 4 seconds later, the puck's in the back of the net. That one had me like, what are we doing here? Why are we playing with separate rule books every night?
Spin the wheel, baby.
I know. It's crazy.
Yep.
But once again, puck don't lie. Leafs get the win on that one.
Yeah. I could see a Samsonov revenge game. I could just as easily see the Leafs just absolutely pumping them too. Like, Who knows, man? It's haven't watched much of Vegas this year, so I don't know what to expect. Any former Leafs that we can expect other than Samsonov to put up numbers?
I
saw the Michael
so. I think
Amadio
the
goal
only
the other
one was
night.
Mike Amadio, but he's a Senator now.
That was hilarious.
I guess the only one is Ilya Samsonov, if I'm not wrong.
Who was the fourth liner for last year? I can't. The name Noah Gregor. I swear he was putting up a hat trick on Monday, but no, I kept him off the board. Nice work.
Yeah, tidy piece of business.
Yeah, moral victories, baby. Utah again. I don't know. I don't know what to make of these anymore, especially without Matthews and like just kind of how middling the team is. Like it's just
Yeah,
they're
I think the
winning
one thing
games.
is we don't know what the status of Austin Matthews is. We don't know if he's back this week. We don't know, whether he's still fighting this thing off. Like I've seen clips of him practicing. He's moving at full speed. I know it's an upper body injury, so no matter what, he's able to skate with it, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just don't fucking know. I will say, if Austin Matthews is in the lineup for the Utah one, thank God I don't ever have to listen once again, ever again, actually, about the potential of Austin Matthews going home to the desert to play hockey for the Coyotes, because they don't fucking exist anymore. They shouldn't have existed like 5 years ago. I'm very glad that I never had to listen to that shit again. I will say on paper, though, Toronto should beat Utah. Utah's got a ton of important injuries on the back end. That seems kind of like a Leafs masterclass to, pick apart. But we also have the Columbus game for us as a precedent. Not saying that Columbus and Utah are on the same level, because I actually think Utah's a pretty good team. But you never know with these guys. They're impossible to handicap. It makes the NHL so fun. You never fucking know who's going to win night to night.
Yeah, like you could put the Toronto Maple Leafs out there against a Timbits team, and they could lose. Like you never know. That's the nature of the sport, but also the nature of the team within the sport.
It's so different than like sports like basketball or baseball. Like basketball, your star players on the court for so many minutes that the better your star is, the higher chance they have to contribute to the game is. Baseball, you can basically look at who the starting pitchers are and have like a pretty decent handicap on who's going to win that game for the most part. Like, and hockey is incredibly hard.
Yep. I do like your point about Arizona never being in the league. I think if you're in the bottom of the league in attendance percentage, I think, you probably don't belong in the league. Wink, wink to the home market.
Okay. Okay. You're doing too much.
But you know what, Brady? I want to do a little exercise here because I really want you to understand. Like I was trying to have this conversation with you on Monday, and we were just all too grumpy to hear it. But how many goals do you think Austin Matthews is going to finish with this year?
If he's healthy again, I'll handicap him for 55.
Okay.
I'll say over under 55.
Okay, and so how many do you think Nylander's going to get? I think he's going to get 50.
I'll put him down for 40 conservatively.
Okay, 40 conservatively. And Mitch Marner, you think Marner will hit the 25 mark?
30.
You think he's going to hit 30?
Yeah, he's shooting the puck a bit more this year so far.
Okay. And John Tavares, where do you project him at?
30, 35. He's had a strong start so far. He's continued.
Matthew Nyes, you think he's going to clip at a 35 goal pace for the rest of the year? Or you think that's going to come back down? I think it's going to come back down a bit. He's been excellent.
We'll see. I think he's made some good steps. Put him at 30 just in case. Like whether it's 35 or 25, we'll see what happens. Either way, that's an upgrade on what he had last year.
All right. It gets a little interesting. What do you think Robertson's going to finish? We were all talking about Robertson and his holdout. This guy's an automatic 20-goal guy. He's got one right now. What do you think he finishes with?
At this point, I would be optimistic with 15.
I feel like that's optimistic. But yeah, sure. Let's say 15. Pontus Holmberg, what do you think?
Fucking 10, maybe.
10.
Which is so crazy to look at because, like, Pontus Holmberg, there's a play a game where he just makes a nasty skilled move. And I'm like, that's gross.
Yep.
He doesn't follow up on it.
Yeah. Steven Lorentz, he's actually been kind of surprising. I could see him
what's
getting
he at
10.
now? He's at 5 right now, right, isn't he?
Okay, so maybe more than that. He might get 15.
No. At most, I put him for, like, maybe 10 or 12. Just throw him in at 10. We're just going to work with round numbers. Let's go 10. I'm going to look to see what
Okay.
Lorentz is at right now.
I put 12. We'll just say 12, okay?
Sure.
Ryan Reaves, do you think he'll get a goal this year?
No. Put him down for the pity one.
Pity one. You want to just go? Okay, we'll just leave that out. Who else we got? Max Pacioretty. Who do you think he's going to finish with?
That's another one. Like, I'd be happy with we'll see how bad the injury is. I can see 15. So Steven Lorentz at 3 goals right now.
Okay.
3 goals, 4 points in 19 games.
Okay. Who else am I missing here? What else am I missing here? Max Domi. What do you think he's going to finish with? He's at 0.
Domi at this point, I could see for 8 goals, maybe 8 to 10, but then have something like 35 assists, which is kind of wild to think about.
Okay. And then Morgan Riley. I think he's gonna hit double digits. I think he'll get you 10. You think 10?
10 to 15.
And then for the rest of that decor, if they chipped in 10 of their own, I think
if you had a combined 15 between OEL and Connor Timmins, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. So we'll say 15 for the rest of the decor? I don't think 10 is going to give you much.
No. Nor do I think Jake McCabe is, even though he's got a decent shot. Jake McCabe is good for 4 or 5 a year.
Okay, so let's say 15 more, okay? So we got Reaves, Lorentz, Pacioretty. Am I missing anyone? Robertson's in there, Domi, Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, Nyes we covered for, Marner. Everybody's in there. Okay. That's actually not bad if you project it that way. It would finish... It would finish top 10 in the league, but it is actually it's a 30 goal difference from where they finished last year.
Yes, and that's with Austin Matthews almost scoring 70 last year.
Yeah.
So actually, I will say Jake McCabe. Yeah, like I was saying, last year he scored 8. Actually, he'll be good for 4 or 5. So I think we're kind of on point with some of our predictions there. A couple of guys may be higher. I will say I think the increase from Nyes is going to help if there is a type of decline from Matthews, whether I think it's substantial or not.
I think your 30 projection for Tavares is probably rich.
Rich?
Yeah.
I don't think
because he always comes out, especially as his decline has become more obvious, he starts the season always pretty hot, and then by January, February, it's caught up to him a little bit. It always feels like he's lost another step by that point in the season even.
Well, he's already got 9 right now in 18 games played, so that is on pace for 42. Or 41, sorry.
I don't think that's sustainable. That's going to come down.
Yes, but I don't think to less than 30. He hasn't not. He scored 29 last year, 36 the year before. The only year that he hasn't got above 25 was the COVID shortened season where he got 19 in 56 games.
Okay. I think this team, I'm going to keep hammering this until it's not a thing. But this team needs scoring in the worst way. They have right now
at that third line. That middle 6 could use an extra player.
They need some punch there in the worst way. They're getting right now between Domi and Reaves and David Kampf. We forgot him in our total, but I don't know how much
that's
we're expecting
0.
out of him. 0.
It didn't matter.
You are getting nothing in terms of offense from way too many players on this roster. Between Kampf, Reaves, Domi, Robertson, even McMahon. I know McMahon had a great night last night, but he went through a long stretch where he wasn't doing anything for you. And it's not even that realistic to expect this kind of consistent offensive output from him. He's only in his second full year in the league. And, that's not realistic. This team needs an upgrade in their scoring ranks in the worst way.
Mm-hmm.
Like a guy that like I would have targeted in the offseason was a guy like Jeff Skinner. Like a guy who can rip it, knows how to score. I understand the 200-foot game probably isn't there, but you need some scoring punch in your middle six in the worst way. And if I see this team go out and get another big, slow defenseman, I know Brad wants Logan Stanley. I know he wants him.
He
wants
doesn't.
him. He
You're
does.
psyoping yourself.
not.
So that
He
is
wants
3
this guy.
goals, 3 assists. Jeff Skinner, by the way, in 18 games played.
Oh,
He is on the same pace with Steven Lorentz.
Jeez. Oof. Okay, what else? Like Anders Lee, Brock Nelson. What else is there? Who's a guy
don't
that
even
can
know.
come in and who's a guy that they can trade for that can come in and help here? Like even with this suspension to Reaves, I would like to see Alex Steves go into the lineup.
Yeah.
What about Alex Nylander? Like he's torching the AHL right
Once
now.
again, Alex Nylander's a case where he would have to sign an NHL contract before he ever sees time of day there.
So do it.
It depends on what the contract number is for the Leafs is at right now, whether they're at that 50 cap or not. I don't know. I wish I still could use my friends at Cap Friendly, but fuck you, Ted Leonis. Anders Lee, yeah, 18 games, 7 goals, 6 assists right now.
That'd be great.
Brock Nelson, I'll take a quick peek. I always thought he's been kind of plagued with injuries the last couple of years. He's got 7 goals, 3 assists in 18 so far. 33, probably, definitely only a couple of years left, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the window though, right? Like you're trying to win now, but you're not winning. You're not winning with that many forwards just not producing. Like they feel like a one-line team that's missing its star right now, and it's hard to watch. And you've got to get some reinforcements up front.
Yeah, I will say though, one thing that has been a nice little revelation, especially I thought against Edmonton, is that power play looked a lot better. A lot better. They didn't score on that game, but I thought they had some really great chances, some really great looks, which is what you want to see. Looks a lot looser. It's you're dead on that. There needs to be a I don't really know what kind of depth player you could grab that's gonna add 15 to 20 off the market right now. That won't be a lot of money. Like the one you think about last year is like the Casey Middlestad to Colorado.
I wonder about Taylor Hall, who was recently healthy scratched.
Yeah, I think there's something going on there. I think he must be injured or something. Taylor Hall on that lineup doesn't deserve to be scratched. I'm sorry.
No. But that's like if their sights are not set on that and they're still looking at like remember that year that Dubas went and got David Riddick, like a third a third goalie. Like don't do that this year. You already have that covered. Don't go get another big defenseman. You've got that covered. You've got bodies for that job. The defense and goaltending have been great. Their sights better be set on a scoring forward or that offense is going to dry up in the first round and they're going to be out really quick.
Yep. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that kind of does it.
I think that
Anything
does
else
it.
you want to touch on?
Easton Cowan.
Oh, yeah. Easton Cowan.
Yeah. 50-game point streak. Probably time to review the rules that prohibit him from playing in the AHL. It's getting a little annoying. It would be unreal to see the Marlies come to town and watch Easton Cowan. I'm going to be going anyways, but it would be fun to watch that. I think it'd be good for the AHL. It'd be good for the CHL too. Like you move a player like Cowan up the ranks and then you bring in young blood, right? Like it's good for everybody. I just don't understand why that's a thing. It's really frustrating.
We do a quick little prospect report. I do know that Fraser Minton has finally got into his first few AHL games, and he has now scored 2 goals, 2 assists in those 4 games. He's been playing with Nikita Grabenkin, who in his first year on American ice I believe he's got 10 points in 12 games, so he's a nice little revelation. Someone that you were in the group chat saying stock is fallen, Topi Niemela. I don't quite believe in that at this second. He is currently at 10 games with 7 assists for 7 points.
This guy's not a Brad Treliving defenseman.
Unfortunately not. Last year, Topi Niemela had 68 games played, 8 goals, 31 assists for 39 points. So I think he's on a better pace right now. We'll see what happens there. Like, I'm not completely sold off Topi Niemela. I just, like I said even last week, I think when we were talking more about Timmy Liljegren, like right-hand puck-moving defenseman, you're never going to see me sell them. That is just who I am. If that's the biggest prospect-hugging, aspect I had to myself. Like pitching prospects in the MLB, I just love them. I think they're so interesting.
I think if you want to set your sights on a defenseman that Brad really likes, I think you got to look at number 54, Nicholas Mottinen. He has 2 points in 8 games, but he is 6'5".
Oh yeah, that guy came over from
Europe,
German league.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit older though.
Yeah, he is. He was originally drafted by Hunter in 2017.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that draft where he took Emily Rasanen and Mottinen, just huge, just towers everybody, and then like all of them busted.
Yeah. Mikko Kokonen's looked good so far. See, he's wearing an A for the Marlies. Good for him. But yeah, so we'll see what goes on. I haven't seen a crazy amount. I know the Marlies are playing well so far this year.
Yeah, they're very good to start the year.
Yeah. Good goalie tandem down there. Dennis Hildeby, Artur Akimatov, and Matt Murray down there, all splitting games, I believe. That's
nice mentorship for them to have Matt Murray there.
Yeah, actually, it looks like the Marlies on a 3-game little slide here.
If you're ever in Toronto going to a Marlies game at Ricoh Coliseum or Coca-Cola Coliseum, it is such a good time. It is such a fun barn. It's not like super professional, and it's super fun. It's cheap, so like $7.
So Dennis Hildeby right now. So Hildeby, Akimatov, and Murray are basically splitting the games pretty equitably.
Yep.
Hildeby's got a .92. Akimatov's got a .917, and Matt Murray's got a .902. So, I mean, not terrible from that. I mean, yeah.
No.
Nikita Gribiankin right now is leading the Marlies now that Alex Steves is on the NHL roster with 10 points.
Right,
Niemela is leading defenseman with 7. Ronnie Hervinen's got 6 points. Ryan Tverberg's got 5 in 11 games. Minton's got 4 and 4. Nick Abruzzese is definitely the one that's fallen off the most. 4 points in 12 games. But
he had a banging season last year too, and there was even talk last year of trading him in a package for an upgrade. But it looks like this happens, right? There's still, he's still, I guess, youngish enough, and there's still probably a little bit of runway there, but there's probably not much else there to sink your teeth into at this point with that one.
No, and no, that's about it.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week after a quieter week on the Leafs front. Like we were saying, hopefully some of those guys who got the injury bug, Austin Matthews, Pacioretty, Domi, get a chance to really heal up. Pacioretty's probably going to be a bit longer, but those guys are definitely got some nagging stuff that are a bit more on the day-to-day side. Hopefully we get to clear some of that stuff out, get them healthy, and let's see some healthier true potential what Craig Berube sees in this team, because, I mean, proof of concept without Austin Matthews' team is hard to win games, so hopefully with them they can win even more.
Yep, would love to see that.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Father, thank you for joining me today. As always, shout out to the great producer Mikey, the best in the business.
The best.
This has been a Top Line Media production.